There's a special kind of magic that happens the moment the door closes and you realize you are officially home alone. No background chatter, no footsteps, no, "Hey, have you seen my—" Nothing. Just you and the glorious, uninterrupted silence of possibility. And suddenly, your house becomes your kingdom, your stage, your secret lair, your personal amusement park. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another cozy, coffee in hand, socks on wrong feet, everyday English chats episode of my podcast. I'm your host, and today we're diving into a topic that I swear deserves its own documentary. Something so universal, so human, and yet so hilariously chaotic. Home Alone adventures. Because, let's be honest, the things we do when no one is watching, nobody needs to see those. And yet, they're the best things we do. So, settle in, because today we're talking about what really happens when you're home alone. What you do, what I do, what we all secretly do, and why those moments are some of the purest joy we ever experience. When the door closes, the real you appears. You know that moment when the house finally goes quiet and you're just standing there like, so what do I do first? And there's this tiny spark of mischief in your brain, this tiny whisper that goes, be weird. And oh, do we listen? Some people act normal. Some people act productive. And then there's the rest of us, professional level weirdos who immediately begin living our best unfiltered lives. For me, the first thing I do when I'm home alone is I turn into a one-woman musical. Like full Broadway, full spotlight, full I should probably win an award for this performance. I don't just sing. No. Singing is for regular days. When I'm home alone, I perform. The Home Alone concert no one asked for. You know what's magical? How the moment people leave, you become 300% louder. You start singing songs you don't even like, songs you don't even know, songs you invent on the spot, like, why is the fridge humming? Why is the fridge humming? At me! Or maybe that's just me. Then you pull out your imaginary microphone, yes, the one that's actually a hairbrush, and suddenly you're performing at a sold-out arena. And the crowd? Oh, the crowd loves you. They're screaming, they're crying, they're like, I love you! And you're like, thank you, I love you too! You've never been this popular. Meanwhile, in reality, your pet is staring at you like, are you okay? And you're like, no, but watch this high note. Then comes the dancing phase, aka the cardio you didn't plan. Not normal dancing. Oh no, I'm talking chaotic, limbs everywhere, don't judge me dancing. The kind of dancing that would get you disqualified from every dance competition ever created. You don't even dance to a beat, you just move. Sometimes you do that little hop. Sometimes that dramatic hair flip. Sometimes that spin that almost takes you out because your sock has zero traction. But you don't stop. Not when you're home alone. Because this is your stage. This is your kingdom. This is your cardio for the entire month. And at some point, you look at yourself in the mirror and go, wow, I'm amazing. Then, 2 seconds later, and also deeply embarrassing. But you keep going because no one is here. This is the beauty of solitude. Talking to yourself like you're filming a documentary. At some point after the singing, after the dancing, after the accidental near-death sock slide incident, you start talking to yourself. Don't lie, we all do it. You start narrating your life. You open the fridge like, Here, we observe the wild human foraging for snacks she definitely did not buy, but will absolutely eat anyway. Or you drop something and go, yes, gravity, my old enemy. And then you walk past a mirror and suddenly become a philosopher. Life is strange, but so am I. And then you answer yourself, which is when you realize, if someone walked in right now, I would simply have to evaporate. But again, nobody's home. So you continue having deep, meaningful conversations with yourself like you're two different people in the same sitcom. Talking to your pets like they're roommates. And then, then we talk to our pets. Not like pets. No, like actual roommates. You walk into the room and see your cat lounging on your couch like a king, and you're like, oh, excuse me, sir, do you pay rent? Or you see your dog chewing something suspicious, and you're like, drop it, what is that? Why do you always choose violence? And they look at you like, ma'am, you were dancing 5 minutes ago. You have no moral high ground. But, of course, the moment you're home alone, your pets become your emotional support best friends. You tell them secrets, you show them your snacks, you ask them for advice they will not be giving. But they listen, mostly, because they can't leave. And then comes the strangest phase of all, the sudden cleaning energy. You don't plan it, you don't expect it. It just happens. You look at one messy corner and suddenly you're like, I'm going to reorganize my entire life. You start small. Oh, I'll just fold these clothes. 3 minutes later, you're standing on a chair, wiping a shelf you didn't even know you owned. You're scrubbing like your ancestors are watching. You're rearranging furniture like you're auditioning for an HGTV show. And then suddenly, mid-clean, you see something weird on the floor. A shadow, a shape, a tiny movement, and your brain goes, ghost. The ghost that was definitely not a ghost. Okay, so let me tell you this story because I swear I thought my soul left my body. I'm cleaning, right? Music blasting, vacuum in one hand, bad decisions in the other. Everything is chill. Then suddenly, I hear a noise. A soft, creepy, horror movie level sound. Something like thump, scratch, thump. And instantly, every horror movie I've ever seen comes back in HD. My heart stops, my dignity leaves, my brain goes, this is how it ends. So I freeze, completely still, holding my vacuum like a weapon, like that plastic stick is going to save my life. And then there's another sound. Thump, skr, skr. And I think, okay, this is a ghost or a demon or a ghost demon. I don't know, but it is not friendly. So I slowly turn around expecting to see, I don't know, a floating figure, a possessed chair, something. And what do I see? My cat! My cat! Stuck inside a cardboard box, trying to escape, like a furry prisoner. He looks at me like, help? And I'm standing there, heart rate at 900, like I almost wrote my own obituary for this. So I help him out, and he just walks away, without even a thank you. Meanwhile, I'm on the floor, recovering from the near-death experience he caused. Why being home alone feels magical. Even with the fake ghosts, the sudden urge to clean, the spontaneous concerts, the questionable dancing, the deep conversations with our pets, and the weird snacks we only eat when nobody is watching, being home alone is a special kind of joy. It's freedom. It's quiet. It's messy. It's peaceful. It's chaotic. It's healing. It's the one time you get to be exactly who you are without worrying about how it looks or sounds or feels to anybody else. It's you being you. And honestly, that's the best adventure of all.
Home Alone adventures aren't just activities. They're a whole personality we switch into. A version of ourselves that emerges the second the last person leaves the house. A version that is somehow 60% more chaotic and 100% more authentic. Let's explore more of that, shall we? The snack decisions that make zero sense. Let's be real. Something very strange happens to our taste buds when we're home alone. You walk into the kitchen like a normal human being thinking, I'll have a proper snack. And then 5 minutes later, you're sitting on the floor eating something that is absolutely not a normal snack. Like cold pasta, or a spoonful of Nutella, or crackers with cheese slices folded like origami, or cereal at 3 p.m. with no milk because I don't feel like it. Or the best one, let me just eat this random thing so I don't have to wash a dish. And there's no shame, not one drop. Because when you're home alone, food becomes less about nutrition and more about vibe. You're not eating because you're hungry. You're eating because it feels like part of the adventure. It's almost like, yes, a wild creature in her natural habitat surviving off unbalanced snacks and questionable choices. The art of wearing the ugliest outfit known to humanity. When people are home, we dress like humans. Clothes that match, clothes that make sense, clothes that don't alarm the neighbors. But the moment you're home alone, your outfit becomes something your ancestors could not have imagined. Oversized hoodie, with pajama pants, with mismatched socks, with hair tied up using, is that a pen? Yes, it is. And you look at yourself like, I am a fashion icon. But only in private, because if anyone knocked on the door right now, you would simply hide behind the furniture forever. But the comfort? Oh, the comfort is unreal. You feel warm, you feel free, you feel like a lump of happiness covered in fabric. It's the official uniform of solitude. The freedom of doing absolutely nothing. One of the biggest Home Alone adventures is, surprisingly, nothing. Absolutely nothing. You sit on the couch like you've become part of the furniture. You stare at the ceiling. You open your phone. You scroll. You close it because your thumb was bored. You scroll again because your thumb was bored. Time becomes blurry. You're not productive. You're not unproductive. You're just existing. And honestly, that's a luxury. You know, it's interesting. When people are around, we feel the pressure to do something. Be busy, look occupied, look like you're achieving, look like your life is organized and you know what you're doing. But when you're home alone, you don't have to pretend. You can breathe. You can rest. You can take up space without explaining anything to anyone. You can just be. And that silence, that freedom, that stillness, it's like a reset button we didn't even know we needed. The strange confidence boost of solitude. Now, here's another weird thing. When you're home alone, you suddenly become very confident. Not in public speaking way. Not in I can run a business way. No, in ridiculous ways. Like thinking you can cook something complicated even though you absolutely cannot. You're like, let me try making a 5-layer lasagna I saw in a 30-second video. Ma'am, you don't even own the right pan. But when you're home alone, you're unstoppable. Or you decide to practice a TikTok dance, even though your coordination is questionable at best. And you're doing it with this energy like, yes, today is the day I become a star. Spoiler, it is not. But the confidence? Oh, it's unmatched. It's like solitude gives us this little spark of, maybe I am that person. But here's the best part. There's no audience, no pressure, no judgment, so you get to enjoy your delusions in peace. When silence suddenly gets too silent. Now, here's something everyone goes through. You're enjoying your peaceful alone time. Everything's great. You're vibing. And then the house makes a noise. Not a big noise, just a tiny creak, a whisper in the wall, a mysterious tap-tap from somewhere you cannot identify. And that's when everything changes. You freeze, you look around, your heartbeat gets dramatic, and your brain becomes the director of a horror movie. You start analyzing, what was that? Should I check? No, because checking means I die first. But what if it's something important? No, we leave mysteries unsolved in this household. And then there's that moment when you convinced yourself it's nothing right before hearing another noise. And then your brain goes, okay, pack your stuff, we're moving. Even though you know deep inside it's just your fridge, your pipes, your cat, your own imagination. But that thrill, that tiny mini heart attack, yeah, it's part of the Home Alone adventure package. The should I start a new life moment. If you've ever been home alone long enough, you know this feeling. You're sitting there, relaxing, maybe eating something, maybe watching something, maybe dancing like your body has no bones. And then suddenly a wave of clarity hits you. You're like, maybe I should repaint my room. Maybe I should start journaling. Maybe I should become a minimalist. Maybe I should move to another country and start fresh. Maybe I should get a plant. Maybe I should become a person that makes smoothies. And for a moment, you feel unstoppable, like your whole personality got a software update. Then 5 minutes later, you're lying on the couch again, like, never mind. But that spark of possibility, that's the magic. Being home alone gives you room to dream, to imagine, to think without interruption. And even if you don't actually move to another country or become a smoothie person, it feels good to feel capable of change. The mirror talks. Ah, yes, the mirror moments. Tell me why the mirror becomes your best friend when you're home alone. You walk past it and suddenly you're giving yourself a pep talk like, you're doing great. You've survived so much. You look cute today, even in this ugly outfit. We're proud of us. Or sometimes you give yourself a full TED Talk in the mirror. Like, ladies and gentlemen, today we embrace peace, joy, and the understanding that I am, in fact, a masterpiece. Or you make faces at yourself or practice your fake interview answers for when someone someday asks you how you became so successful. And you're like, well, thank you for asking. And the mirror just reflects back your imaginary speeches lovingly. Mirrors are powerful, especially when you're home alone and nobody can judge your imaginary speeches. The deep thoughts that only come in solitude. There's something about silence that makes your brain open up like a book. You start thinking about the past, you start planning the future, you start questioning why your cat hates you. You start wondering if you left the stove on even though you haven't cooked all day. And sometimes you get surprisingly emotional. You realize things you didn't have time to feel. You process things that were stuck. You breathe deeper. You understand yourself a little better. Being home alone isn't always loud. Sometimes it's soft. Sometimes it's healing. Sometimes it's a reminder of who you are when no one is watching. And that's something rare. When you finally sit down and let the world be quiet. You know that moment near the end of the day when you've done the singing, the dancing, the snacking, the overthinking, the existential crisis, the vacuum as a weapon moment, and you finally sit down. Just sit. The house is completely still. Your mind is calm. Your breath slows down. You hear the soft hum of the world around you. And you think, this feels good. Because solitude isn't just funny or chaotic. It's peaceful. It's grounding. It's a reminder that beneath all the noise of life, there is a version of you who is quiet and gentle and okay. And sometimes that's exactly who you needed to meet.
The random projects you start for no reason. There is a very specific kind of confidence that arrives when you're alone at home. It whispers things like, you know what? I can absolutely build a shelf. I can fix that broken drawer myself. I can rearrange my entire room right now. And your brain, your sweet, overly optimistic brain, believes it wholeheartedly. So what do? You start a project. A project that was not in the plans for the day. A project you are absolutely not prepared for. A project you will probably not finish. Like taking every item out of your wardrobe because you suddenly decided you want a minimalist lifestyle. Or moving your bed to the other side of the room because you're convinced the energy flow will improve. Or opening a drawer filled with mysterious things you don't remember buying, but now you're determined to organize. And halfway through, you look around at the massive mess you've created and you go, why did I do this? But hey, this is how Home Alone adventures work. You start something with confidence, question your entire life midway, and then finish it anyway because now the chaos is too visible to ignore. The phone breaks you didn't mean to take. Another Home Alone phenomenon. You pick up your phone for 1 second. You check one message, one notification, one meme, one video. And suddenly, 2 hours have passed. You don't know how, you don't know when, you don't know why you fell into a hole of watching raccoons steal food from people's porches or listening to someone explain the history of chairs. But it happens. And the funniest part is, you're not even ashamed. You just shrug and say, well, that was educational. At least that's what I tell myself. Being home alone gives you this guilt-free phone time where you scroll without anyone judging you or asking, why are you watching that? Because the answer is always, I don't know, but I'm invested now. The I'm going to be productive now phase. At some point, usually after an overlong phone break, you decide, okay, enough chaos, time to be productive. And a whole new personality appears. Suddenly you're planning, you're writing lists, you're telling yourself, I'm going to finish everything today. Spoiler alert, you will not. But the ambition is beautiful. You open your laptop, ready to work. You sit upright. You take a deep breath. You feel powerful. And then you do absolutely nothing. Not for lack of effort, just because home alone productivity is mostly theoretical. You click on one thing, then another, then you remember a YouTube video you wanted to watch, then you decide maybe cleaning is more important, then you realize you're hungry again, then you wander around the house wondering what you were supposed to do in the first place. Being home alone means having the full intention of becoming your best self and then becoming a lazy potato instead. And honestly, both are valid. The existential shower concert. At some point during your home alone day, you take a shower. A normal shower? Absolutely not. A dramatic, over-the-top performance shower. It starts simple. You wash your hair, you mind your business. Then, a song comes on. A song you didn't even know you loved until that moment. Suddenly, you are performing. The bathroom becomes an opera house. The steam becomes your stage lights. The water becomes your background effects. And you are singing. Loud, wrong notes, right emotions. You're doing emotional hand gestures like the shampoo bottle betrayed you. You're singing like you're trying to win a talent show that does not exist. You're hitting high notes so aggressively, your pet outside the door is reconsidering its decision to live with you. And the best part is, you sound amazing. Not in real life, in your head. But that's all that matters. The walk to the kitchen at 2 a.m. Let's talk about something nearly universal. You're home alone, you go to bed, you're comfortable. Then your stomach, that dramatic little organ, decides, I want something. So you get out of bed, you walk through the house at night, and suddenly the entire place feels like a haunted museum. Every shadow looks suspicious. Every creak sounds personal. Your footsteps echo like you're being followed by yourself. And then you reach the kitchen and do something weird. You open the fridge extremely slowly, like you're afraid the light inside will give you a jump scare. You grab a single snack, very quietly, as if noise is illegal. Then you walk back to your room at record speed, because nighttime silence makes you feel like a fugitive. And the whole time, you're thinking, why does the house feel 10 times bigger at night? It's dramatic, it's spooky, it's somehow thrilling. And the moment you get back into your warm bed, it feels like a victory. The imaginary dialogues we create. Being home alone comes with another strange talent. We start having imaginary conversations with people we know, with people we haven't met, with customer service agents we annoyed 5 years ago, with neighbors we've never spoken to, with our future selves, with our past selves, with whoever we think might listen. And they are detailed. You rehearse that comeback you didn't say in real life. You imagine how you would win an argument you absolutely will never have. You practice explaining your dreams, your plans, your boundaries. You give yourself closure you should have gotten years ago. And afterwards, you're like, wow, I should win an award for this conversation. And the best part? You always say the right thing in these imaginary dialogues because you control both sides. It's therapeutic, chaotic, and surprisingly helpful. The sudden burst of creativity. Home alone energy is creative energy. Maybe it's the silence, maybe it's the lack of social pressure, maybe it's the freedom to think without interruption. But suddenly, you want to write something, draw something, paint something, organize something, sing something, record something, invent something, cook something new, or dream up a whole new life plan. You get this spark, this urge to create something beautiful or silly or personal. Even if it doesn't turn into anything big, it feels good to feel creative again. Because in everyday life, we're often too busy reacting. But when you're alone, you finally have space to express instead of just absorb. And that's powerful. When the house starts feeling like a friend. After hours of being alone in your space, doing everything and nothing at the same time, something shifts. Your house doesn't feel like walls and furniture anymore. It feels like a companion. You know every sound it makes, every cozy corner, every spot where the sunlight hits just right, every place you love to sit and breathe. It becomes a safe little world where you're allowed to be real, where you can breathe the way you want, move the way you want, exist the way you are. And honestly, that comfort is everything. Home isn't just a place you live. It's a place where your thoughts settle, where your soul stretches out a little bit, where you meet yourself over and over again. Being alone doesn't feel lonely. It feels familiar, warm, solid. Yours. The slow return to reality. Eventually, the adventure quiets down. You notice the time. You realize people will come back soon. You start shifting out of your home alone mode. You put away the snack wrappers. You fix your hair so it looks like you weren't singing opera with shampoo. You quickly finish the cleaning disaster you created. You put your outfit back into public human mode. You check your reflection one last time to make sure you look sane. It's funny how quickly we return to our regular selves the moment we expect company. It's like pressing a reset button. You turn back into the version of you that fits into the world. But deep inside, you know something sweet. After hours of enjoying your solitude, the dancing, the snacking, the dramatic performances, the peaceful silence, you eventually reach a surprising point. You start missing people. Not in a sad way, more like a soft little nudge. A gentle thought like, I kind of want to talk to someone now. Or, I should probably tell someone about the ghost that was actually my cat incident. It's almost funny. We spend the whole time enjoying the freedom of being alone, and then our heart reminds us that we also love connection. It's balance. Solitude gives us room to breathe. People give us warmth to return to. And that's when you know you've had a good home alone adventure, when you've fully recharged, but you're ready to reconnect again. The final ritual of becoming a normal human again. There's a moment, usually near the end of the day, when you sense the return of reality. Maybe you hear a car outside, maybe you check the time, maybe someone texts you on the way. And suddenly your brain shifts gears like, all right, time to pretend I had my life together this whole time. So you clean the kitchen a little, hide the evidence of your snack crime spree, fold the blanket you had wrapped around you like a burrito, tidy up the room you'd turned into a dance studio, snack bar, therapy office, karaoke stage, and personal JoJo. You check the mirror, fix your hair, try to look like a functioning adult and not someone who spent 15 minutes talking to the plant. It's like the final scene of a comedy movie where the main character rushes around putting everything back before the credits roll. But you're smiling because you know the story of what actually happened in this house today. Reflecting on the quiet magic of being alone. Before everything goes back to normal, there's always a small, silent moment. A moment where you pause, where you breathe, where you stand in the middle of your home and let the stillness settle around you one last time. That moment is important. It reminds you that solitude isn't loneliness. It's a gift, a soft place inside your life where you can take off your mask, rest your voice, slow your mind, and be your own companion. There's a freedom in walking through your space without being observed, a tenderness in hearing your own thoughts clearly, a comfort in knowing you enjoy your own company. Being home alone teaches you something precious. You are enough, even when the world is quiet. In fact, especially then. The tiny traditions we build when we're alone. Everyone has their own little rituals, little habits they don't even think about until someone asks, "What do you do when you're home alone?" Some people open the windows to let in the fresh air. Some light candles and pretend they're in a spa. Some talk to their pets like therapists. Some watch comfort shows. Some cook something slow and warm. Some sit outside with tea. Some read old messages and laugh. Some meditate. Some cry and release emotions they didn't know were stuck. Some dance until they feel alive again. Some lie on the floor for absolutely no reason. These tiny rituals, they're all ways of reconnecting with ourselves. Being alone strips away the outer noise, and suddenly your small joys become loud. Your personality becomes colorful again. Your inner world starts breathing comfortably. You return to yourself. A soft reminder, you deserve time with you. Sometimes we forget how important it is to be alone. We're surrounded by people, responsibilities, messages, voices, screens, expectations. Every day we're asked to show up, respond, smile, listen, produce, organize, fix, adapt. And in the process, we forget that we also need to show up for ourselves. Solitude is not an escape. It's a recharge station. It's where your mind unwinds, where your emotions make sense again, where you meet the version of yourself that the busy world never sees, the honest, soft, slightly chaotic one. And she needs you. She needs space. She needs quiet. She needs time. So the next time you find yourself home alone, let it be an adventure again. Not just a break, but a reunion with yourself. The joy of being your own companion. When you're alone and smiling at something silly, That's joy. When you're dancing with reckless freedom, that's joy. When you're eating weird snacks on the floor, joy. When you're singing with shampoo as a microphone, joy. When you're laughing at your pet, joy. When you're cleaning at 2x speed because your playlist is too good, joy. When you're talking to yourself like the main character, joy. When you're sitting quietly with a warm drink, joy. When you're existing without performing, pure, undiluted joy. Being alone isn't empty. It's full. Full of tiny moments that build a relationship with yourself. And that relationship, it's the foundation for everything. Time to wrap up. Let's land this adventure. We've wandered through the chaos, the calm, the comedy, the weirdness, the comfort, and the tenderness of being home alone. You've seen the whole spectrum. The silly parts, the dramatic parts, the peaceful parts, the introspective parts, the mysterious noises that nearly ended your bloodline, the ghost that turned out to be the cat, the dancing, the mirror talks, the snack crimes, the deep breaths, the creativity, the clarity, the self-reconnection. This entire journey, everything we've explored, is part of why being home alone feels like a mini movie, a personal retreat, a soft rebellion, a solo adventure. It's not just about what you do. It's about who you become. A little freer, a little sillier, a little calmer, a little more you. And honestly, that's beautiful. And with that, we've reached the end of today's episode, Home Alone Adventures. Thank you for spending this time with me, whether you're listening alone right now or with someone nearby pretending not to listen. Remember this, there is joy in your own company. There is peace in silence. There is magic in small, private moments, and there is power in knowing that you can keep yourself entertained, inspired, and comforted. So the next time you find yourself home alone, embrace it, explore it, let yourself laugh, rest, sing, think, dream, unwind, and just simply be. You deserve that space. Until next time, take care of your mind, your heart, your home, and that wonderfully weird version of you that only appears when the door closes and the house goes quiet. I'll see you, or rather talk to you, in the next episode. Take care and enjoy every little adventure.